So, our Land and Water National Science Challenge is 1 year into a 3 year project to create a free online tool. And this will record efforts to improve water quality within rural catchments, but of course also highlight the good work that is currently underway. The tool is ultimately developed to improve the ability to link the actions on land with the changes in water quality at the monitoring sites. And Roger Young from Cawthron Freshwater Science Group Manager joins us now. Thank you so much for taking the time, Roger. I was very excited to delve into this because, of course, it's not only about what we can do, but what we have already achieved, and sometimes providing that in a visual way makes people's anxieties and their knowledge base a lot stronger. Can you give me a wee bit of background of how you personally come to be involved with this project?
Yeah, hi Sarah. Thanks for having me on the show. I'm a freshwater scientist, and so I've been doing a lot of work on water quality monitoring around New Zealand and things. So it's seeing patterns of water quality. Some places are not so good, and some places are still pretty awesome. But we've got some places going backwards. So it's nice to be involved in a project where we are really recognising the good work. We know there's a lot of people doing good work out there to try and improve the state of our waterways. So it's really important to recognise that work, and then also if we can record what is going on, what's being done, where it's being done, and how much is being done, we can actually learn what actions are most effective in terms of improving the situation.
Freshwater in New Zealand is one of the most emotive issues that every single New Zealander feels personally attached to and has done over the last couple of years. But do you believe that it is simple enough to transform what is a very complicated science into a sort of layman's way of understanding it?
Yeah, I grew up on a farm myself, and used to play down by the river and that sort of thing. So that's what really got me into. I probably should have been helping out in the shearing shed, but I ended up fishing and that sort of thing. So, but yeah, I think it's not a problem that any one person can solve. It's something that the whole community has to work on, and a lot of the issues have been building up for hundreds of years, really. So it's not something we're going to fix overnight. But everybody can make a contribution and think about their activities, what they're doing, and how they can improve the situation.
Yeah, I know our listeners and viewers would be really interested to know about how this tool works.
Yeah, so we're aiming to get information on exactly what people are doing. There's a range of things, obviously, that people can do to help minimise the effects of land management on rivers. So whether that's planting, keeping stock out of waterways, or planting riparian margins, or protecting wetlands, or farm plans, managing fertiliser and irrigation, all those sorts of things. So we're trying to get information on that from people. We're largely working with sector groups like the dairy companies and that sort of thing. They're collecting that type of information from their suppliers already, so we're trying to access that information so people don't have to supply it more than once, and then we'll be reporting that back at a catchment scale. Won't be reporting at a property scale. We don't want to see this as a compliance tool that people will be using to hit them with a stick. It's an information tool so people can see where their activities fit in with the wider catchment, and how they compare with other catchments, for example.
Yeah, absolutely. So if someone listening is involved in their local catchment and wants to be able to effectively help plug into this, what's the best way to go about that?
We're just building the register at the moment and thinking around how we're going to get information into it and also get information out to the people. So the reporting part of it is going to be through the OLAW website, Land, Air, Water, Aotearoa, which currently hosts a whole lot of environmental information. So this will be a new module in OLAW reporting on who's doing what where to improve the situation, and it'll be sitting beside other information on water quality and river health and things. So in terms of the input data, as I mentioned, we're expecting to get most of the information directly from sector organisations and dairy companies and regional councils, those sorts of things. But we're going to set it up so individuals could potentially, or community groups especially, could be entering the data. We're still just working out the logistics of how to do that and have manageable costs around all that sort of thing. So wrong stuff coming in.
Now, you obviously are the group manager, and there must be a bigger team than just yourself that are involved with this. What's it like being a freshwater scientist and then actually putting your head into sort of data integration? It's kind of a different world.
Yeah. It's something I've been doing for a while, and it's certainly much a bigger team than just me involved with this, and more than just Cawthron as well. We've got 3 other organisations involved in the project with bringing in different skills in terms of mātauranga Māori and data, the whole data management and web design and all that sort of thing side of it. So yeah, I'm just a mere freshwater scientist.
Yeah, but at the same time, the picture is only as good as the data that is inputted into it. What are some of the challenges you've unearthed so far in the first year of being able to get all of the different types of organisations that are collecting data to be able to plug in and simply for it to talk easily to each other?
Yeah, that's going to be a challenge, and one of the challenges is there isn't a whole lot of data collection going on. Certainly some sectors are well advanced in that, but others think it's a good idea, and so we'll be encouraging, hopefully it is a bit of a build it and they will come kind of situation. Some of this information will be collected by different agencies at different scales, and that's going to be a challenge for us to put that in together. We're seeing this as a national picture, but also being relevant right down to a subcatchment scale.
Yeah, and of course the quality of that data and how it is collected as well. Is there, as a freshwater scientist, like the be-all and end-all of technology for monitoring water quality that sort of catchment groups might want to start to think of investing in collectively or start to work towards, that are really great tools? I understand there's a lot here in Lincoln and Canterbury in terms of hyperspectral and different things going on as well. Is there something that people should be starting to think about working towards?
It's an area of interest of mine, is thinking about river health rather than just water quality. So I think that's what we all really want, are healthy waterways, not just sort of clear water. I guess swimming pools have nice clear water, but there's not much life in them. So there's a variety of indicators. We use things, water quality indicators like nutrient concentrations and sediment and water clarity, those sorts of things, fecal bacteria. But then in terms of the biology of the system, we often look at the composition of the invertebrates, or the little animals that live in amongst the stones on the river bottom. That can tell you a lot about the health of the system. And then obviously a lot of people are passionate about the fish living in the system. They're sort of the larger organisms, and obviously from a Māori perspective and a lot of people's perspective, it's fish are what draw people to waterways as well. So thinking around the species that you'd expect to be there, do you find them there, and are they healthy and growing fast, and those sorts of things.
Absolutely, it is a bigger picture, and certainly guests in the past on Serious Country have started to change that conversation to be more about that. So when it comes down to what it may look like in 3 years' time, say for instance I'm live in Ponsonby and have a passionate interest in following the water quality of my favourite waterway, will I be able to log on and visually see a red, orange, green type dashboard? Is that kind of where it's going to?
Yep. So on OLAW at the moment, you can see your favourite water body wherever you want to go, and you can look at New Zealand as a whole and see what's being monitored where and what the average sort of picture is, and then you can zoom right down into individual river, and potentially where there's more than one site on a river, you can go to one particular site and see the water quality last week, the last sample, and how it fits in. In terms of the register of actions, you'll be able to see alongside of that, you'll be able to see, well, actually, the upstream catchment, 40% of it is fenced. There's stock excluded from 40% of the catchment upstream, so that's a good start, but there's more work to be done. You might see that there's 3 major wetlands in that catchment, and they've all been fenced, and 80% of the landowners have an active farm environmental plan. That's the sort of information that we're hoping to be able to show, so you can see the level of activity of people in catchments.
So therefore the motivation to landowners is really input data into as much places as you can that is relative, and then not see it as a compliance thing, actually see this as an educational tool that can help the general patriotism towards farming.
That's right. I mean, there's quite a bit of talk about social license of farming and that sort of thing, and the urban-rural divide and these sorts of things, but I think it's important that there is a lot of activity going on, and I think this is the way of landowners telling their story about the good work that's going on and the efforts being made, and I think that's being undervalued at the moment.
Thank you so much, Group Manager for Cawthron and the Freshwater Group, and the work that's going on with the free online tool. And you can learn more about that if you look in the description below if you're listening on podcast, as well as find more information at farmersweekly.co.nz. And I'm sure you will also be able to find it on the Our Land in Water National Challenge website as well.